Hi everybody, it's Fatih Arslan again and welcome to my 6th interpersonal communication tutorial video. In this tutorial, we will see chapter 6, which includes cultural identity and cultural biases. Now let's start. Cultural identity. Identity and the powerful ways in which one self-concepts as a member of a particular cultural group basis rooted in cultural identity, as we examine the effects of ethnocentrism, stereotyping, prejudice, discrimination, and racism on intercultural interaction. The nature of identity. Related to the distinction between in-group and out-group membership is the concept of one's identity or self-concept. Self-concept is built on cultural, social, and personal identities. Cultural identity refers to one's sense of belonging to a particular cultural or ethnic group. The nature of identity continuously. Social identity develops as consequences of memberships in particular groups within one's culture. Personal identity is based on people's unique characteristics which may differ from those of others in their cultural and social groups. The formation of cultural identity. Cultural identity is often developed through a process involving three stages. These three stages are: first, unexamined cultural identity; second, cultural identity search; and third, cultural identity achievement. Unexamined cultural identity stage, one's cultural characteristics are taken for granted, and consequently there is little interest in exploring cultural issues. Cultural identity search involves a process of exploration and questioning about one's culture in order to learn more about it and to understand the implications of membership in that culture. Emotional component to this stage of varying intensity, which involves tension, anger, and perhaps even outrage directed toward other groups. Cultural identity achievement is characterized by clear, confident acceptance of oneself and internalization of one's cultural identity. People in this stage have developed ways of dealing with stereotypes and discrimination so that they don't internalize others negatively contributes to increased self-confidence and positive psychological adjustment. Characteristics of cultural identity. Once formed cultural identities provide an essential framework organizing and interpreting our experiences of others. Cultural identities are central, dynamic, and multifaceted components of one's self-concept. Cultural identities are central to a person's sense of self. Cultural identities are dynamic. Your cultural identity, your sense of the culture to which you belong and who you are in light of this cultural membership exists within a changing social context. Cultural identities are also multifaceted. At any given moment, you have many components that make up your identity. Social categorizing. Three features in the way all humans process information about others are important to your understanding of intercultural competence. First, as cognitive psychologists have repeatedly demonstrated, people impose a pattern on their world by organizing the stimuli that bombard their sense into conceptual categories. Second, most people tend to think that other people perceive, evaluate, and reason about the world in the same way that they do. Third, Humans simplify the processing and organizing information from the environmental by identifying certain characteristics of belonging to certain categories of person and events. Ethnocentrism. Ethnocentrism is a learned belief in cultural superiority, tends to highlight and exaggerate cultural differences. Ethnocentrism can occur along all of the dimensions of cultural patterns discussed. Prejudice refers to negative attitudes toward other people that are based on faulty and inflexible stereotypes. For example, if we have a teacher who has really prejudices, it means your job is very difficult. Okay, let's continue. Prejudiced attitudes include irrational feelings of dislike and even hatred for certain groups. Biased perceptions and beliefs about the group member state are not based on direct experiences and first-hand knowledge. Discrimination. It occurs in many forms. Okay. From the extremes of segregation and apartheid to biases in the availability of housing, employment, education, economic resources, personal safety, etc. Represents unique treatment of certain individuals solely because of their membership in a particular group. Racism. One obstacle to intercultural competence to which we want to give special attention is racism. The word racism itself can evoke very powerful emotional reactions. Individual racism involves beliefs, attitudes, and behavior of a given person toward people of a different racial group. Okay. Now we finished our lesson. I hope you understand. If you have still questions, you can send us emails and we will try to back to you. Thanks for watching and listening to me. I hope we will see each other on the next tutorial. Goodbye.